Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the TopFrag podcast. I'm your host, Brendan Shave, as always. In episode 4, I gave my opinion on SK's current run of form and what they need to do to kind of change their momentum around going into the summer of 2018. Today, for episode 5, I'm going to be talking about Call of Duty, but I'm not going to be talking about Call of Duty World War II. Frankly, the Call of Duty scene right now has lost interest for me. I'm not too interested in World War II as a game overall. I mean, I think the game is decently made in comparison to recent Call of Duties, that being, of course, Infinite Warfare, and some of the other games around it. But today, this episode is truly about Black Ops 4. You know, Black Ops 4 set to release in October. We'll get the first gameplay in May, of course. But I just wanted to kind of make this episode to discuss what I think that they really need to do to make this game right and to, as people are saying, save the Call of Duty scene from the dark times that we're in currently. Obviously, as someone who has played every Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4, I am super knowledgeable and opinionated on the developers of each title and, you know, kind of just how I feel about them, right? So, recently, Call of Duties have not been as good. I think that's without question the case. But one kind of outlier to that has been Treyarch. Treyarch, obviously, making Black Ops 2, which for me is the best Call of Duty of all time. Just because, you know, how balanced and how consistently fun the game was to play. I know a lot of people will argue Modern Warfare 2 for pubs, and Modern Warfare 2, definitely a very fun game for public matches, things like that. But Black Ops 2, for me, had really fun pubs and a very, very good competitive playlist. Definitely the best that we've seen in the Call of Duty scene. So, you know, without question, it gets my vote because it does handle both aspects. And then, of course, for you extra public match players, it had Zombies, which Zombies, super fun to play. Won't even, you know, try to act completely professional on the podcast. I do love playing Zombies for sure. So Black Ops 2 for me, again, just the best game ever made in the Call of Duty series. But, you know, Treyarch, they took a chance, right? When Advanced Warfare came out from Sledgehammer, they introduced Exo movement. People were pretty excited about it. After the year of Advanced Warfare, people were a little bit concerned. They were like, you know, I don't know how much more I want of this kind of jagged advanced movement, you know, quick side swipes, ups and downs. You know, I do value the argument a little bit that it provided some sort of skill gap, but overall I think we could have done without it. And Black Ops 3 did a really good job for me of finding the perfect balance between exo movement and keeping Call of Duty traditional in a sense that it's still on the ground. So for me, going forward into Black Ops 4, I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the movement mechanics because it's kind of interesting to see the transition period that we've had for Call of Duty because obviously until Advanced Warfare, everything was on the ground, everything was fine. Advanced Warfare comes out at the very beginning. People are really excited about the movement. Towards the end of Advanced Warfare, again, people kind of hating it a little bit, saying that they kind of want boots on the ground. Black Ops 3 comes out. I think some people were still kind of 50-50 on movement in Black Ops 3, but I personally really liked the movement in Black Ops 3, and I think they did a really good job with finding a perfect balance between the exo movement and the classic Call of Duty boots on the ground feel. Then Infinite Warfare came out, and a lot of people kind of cried out for classic Call of Duty gameplay, back to boots on the ground. And frankly, as far as things wrong with Infinite Warfare is concerned, the exo movement I would have probably put near the middle to the bottom of the pack. I think there was a lot bigger problems than the exo movement of Infinite Warfare. I mean, the game realistically was just not fun to play. And, you saw pros literally tweeting out things like, this year's all for the money, things like that. Just because the game just wasn't up to standards by any means for Call of Duty fans. And then Sledgehammer gave everyone what they wanted. They gave them boots on the ground gameplay, and people now are still complaining with how the game has turned out. And they're certainly right to. I'm not saying that they shouldn't complain. I mean, I think the game has some clear flaws in it. There's new weapon patches pretty much every day, making a new best gun consistently. There's a lot of problems. The maps, for competitive at least, are not very good, and it's a very small map pool in itself. They're trying to add DLC, but of course, you've already lost half your fan base when you're trying to get people to buy into DLC for competitive. And frankly, most people have lost interest with this game, just like they had lost interest with Infinite Warfare. So for Black Ops 4 to kind of create a wish list for this, I'm pretty torn on whether I would want the game to be in the EXO or, to have EXOs or not. Black Ops 3 had EXOs, probably second or third best Call of Duty game of all time in my opinion. Black Ops 2 didn't have EXOs, best game of all time in my opinion. For me, Treyarch really can't go wrong with the movement side of things, but they have a clear formula between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 that works for Call of Duty, that makes their games fun to play even after the game is over. I mean, there are still people to this day playing Black Ops 2. There are still people to this day playing Black Ops 3, Black Ops 1, even World at War a little bit. That one, not as much, but Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 especially. They clearly have a very good understanding of the market, and, people always overhype, or maybe not necessarily overhype, but always hype up David Vonderhaar being able to find the perfect mixture of everything between pubs and between competitive, right? And making sure that there is a balance for players that just want to play public matches and have nothing to do with esports, which is, to be fair, the vast majority of players, and giving esports fans of Call of Duty exactly what they need to be able to play a well-developed game. And I think you should fully expect that going forward. I mean, Treyarch, for me, is kind of the last savior of Call of Duty. I mean, if Black Ops 4 does turn out to be bad, I think Call of Duty is just done for as a series. I mean, they've lost so much of their viewership and their fan base for pubs and for competitive with these last couple titles. Really, since Ghosts, it's been kind of a decline a little bit. And if Black Ops 4 doesn't save it, I don't know what game could. But going into Black Ops 4, the main things that I'm going to be looking for that we didn't really get in World War II or Infinite Warfare: good guns, again, or guns that are fun to use. I mean, obviously, like in Black Ops 3, we had the M8, which was, just so iconic. We've had so many guns in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 that are just so iconic in the Call of Duty series overall. I mean, people forever will love the MSMC and the Scorpion. Obviously, the M8, like I said before, it's been a staple in the scene between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 because, of course, it was in both games. The VMP, obviously, in Black Ops 3, another very fun SMG to use. Even some of the snipers in Black Ops 2 and 3, whether you play pubs or competitive, very, very fun weapons to use. So you got to have good guns. You got to have fun guns that people enjoy using, that feel good when you get a kill with them. You need to have a wide-ranging map pool, not just for pubs, but for competitive in general. I mean, in a perfect scenario, you're making 12 to 15 maps for the whole game, and 10 of them maybe are competitive. Like 8 to 10 of them are competitive. And I realize that's a lot of games, but you also have a lot of game modes, and you'll have S&D only maps, CTF only maps, things like that have happened in the past, of course. And you need to be able to constantly update the game. Black Ops 3 was very good about making the game feel fresh and feel fun to play every time you played it. And, as far as Call of Duty is concerned, it's kind of a regular schedule for DLC. They release one like one every 2 months, something like that. But, they constantly released new supply drop content and new things, just little things that made players want to keep playing. One of the biggest things for me is being able to just play pubs and grind for cases to be able to get camos for my gun. I mean, that's like such a simple thing, such a simple concept, but people in games love being able to modify their guns and their characters cosmetically. And finally, the big thing that they need to be able to do, in my opinion, to make Black Ops 4 the savior of the Call of Duty series and franchise, is they need to have not only good public match playlists that are fun for people to play when they want to just hang out and play with their friends and play at a casual level, but also a very good ranked playlist. Black Ops 2 nailed it with League play. I mean, they brought Call of Duty esports to the forefront for a full calendar year with that League play system, and we have had nothing like it since. And honestly, it's super frustrating as a fan of esports in Call of Duty that we don't have a way to get back to the competitive roots of Call of Duty with League play. Black Ops 3 tried to do it. They tried a system kind of similar to the Halo 2 system almost in a way, but really didn't work out. Infinite Warfare didn't even have a competitive playlist. World War II's playlist, pretty poor. I mean, you can't even play with a full 4-team queue. And frankly, you just play matches and people just quit because there's the ban timers just really are meaningless, and people just aren't as interested in their rank as they are just playing the game for fun. Not to mention that the system itself in the game is just broken and really doesn't get a true test of your skill from your 10 placement matches. And if you think about games after Black Ops 2, I mean, there's only 2 games left after those 3, and it's Ghosts, which didn't have a real competitive ranked playlist. They had, like Clan vs. Clan or whatever that was called. And then Advanced Warfare had, the best competitive playlist besides Black Ops 2, but even Advanced Warfare's was iffy at times. I would say it was average or decent, but nowhere near on the level of Black Ops 2. And I think what made Black Ops 2 so good was the fact that casual players wanted to play League play. Look at CSGO, for example. When you play CSGO as a casual player, you can play casual, you can play deathmatch, whatever, but almost every player that plays casual or plays deathmatch plays competitive matchmaking because it's so addicting, and there is certainly an addictive aspect to grinding for a level or a rank in competitive that is unmatched by anything else in video games, right? Like trying to get a high rank in a competitive video game is one of the most fun sort of grinds you can do, whether you're doing it by yourself or with a team or whatever. But overall, I think it's super important that they implement a ranked play system that works and is fun for, pros that want to get to the high rank to get exclusive rewards, or casual players who want to get ranked, who might play 3 games of ranked, and get addicted or hope to get addicted and continue to play going forward. If you did enjoy this episode of the TopFrag podcast, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment below on anything that you want to see. You know, if you have any topics you'd like me to cover, or if you just have any general questions, you know, interact with me on Twitter as well at BrendoTGB. You know, follow me, tweet at me, whatever you want to do, right? You know, let's interact and, you know, try to get some topics going. You know, I'm always interested in seeing what my followers want to talk about or want me to talk about. And finally, if you do want to be on an episode of the podcast, or if you're looking to sponsor an episode or multiple episodes, email me at shavebrendan11@gmail.com. That's CHAVEBRENDAN11@gmail.com. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope to see you guys for episode